So I'm actually getting more exposure locally. I actually had a guy that reached out that went from my Instagram to my YouTube, and he actually went to my home tour channel, not my living in channel, and said, hey, can you list my house? I wish I saw you earlier because I've already put a new construction under contract, but I still need an agent to help me sell my house.
Welcome back to the Agent Marketers Podcast. You got myself here, Ryan, with Adam, and we've got the heavy debate for you guys today. The two mega giants here, YouTube and Instagram. All right. We're going to go at it. We're going to duke this out. YouTube versus Instagram. Which lead generation source is better? Which one, if you were starting over, should you start with? All right. And how to even attack some of those in different angles and things like that, and how the leads even come in. So, diving right into it, we both have both of these things working for us. We both have YouTube and Instagram working for us. Adams is really taken off as of recent too. So how do you see what's happening there? Because your YouTube channel is the top in Tampa, all right, mega channel in Tampa, but now your Instagram is taking off on this side over here. So what are you seeing when these leads come in, and how does that look and sound? Is it different? What do they look like?
Yeah. So, I guess to take it back to the beginning, that heated debate, realtors are always trying to say, YouTube's the best. And I can't argue too much with that, because I didn't really, up until this point, didn't really dive in hard to Instagram. And so I started asking realtors, outside of the state, outside of the city, what's your success with Instagram? They're like, oh, it's great. You're getting you're getting a ton of exposure, but it is different than YouTube. And so now I'm like, oh man, it's really hard to compare an apple to an orange, but they're both good, and they're both good in their own right. So that debate is going to be a heated one. So I really want to jump in the pros and cons of both. With YouTube, I'm getting a ton of business. We did the living in method that we've talked about on our podcast here. We've done the home tours that we've talked about on our podcast. So we do have different forms of that. And I mean, I'm selling a ton from that, but right as that happens, man, Instagram starts to pop. I'm doing the things. I'm staying consistent, posting every day. And now it's like I'm getting reach outs from Instagram. And at first I was like, man, they really love my Instagram. But it is kind of funny, that communication. It's like, hey, I love your videos on YouTube. I love what you're doing here on Instagram. I love how it all works together. And it's just really eye-opening at the exposure you get on Instagram and the way that the communication is from those that are watching. And then, you just have this YouTube who's just this monster pouring in leads. So at this point, I think the verdict is not exactly clear, but what I can tell you from my experience so far is that they're very different, and they have their own special place for marketing for realtors. And yes, they both work. That's the good part. That's the good news, right?
Yeah.
But Ryan, you've always fought me on this, man. You're always like, YouTube's number one. Instagram, I'm not sure about. What do you think? So what are some of the reasons? We like to do pros and cons. So what are some of the reasons you're not you would say YouTube is better than Instagram?
Mm-hmm. So I like, when I think of Google, and I know SEO and all this other stuff, and when I think of that, I just think about anytime I open up my browser and I'm searching for something, the intent for me is extremely high with whatever I'm looking for. Like right now, I'm looking at weighted vest for my workouts, and I'm really searching and doing my homework. I'm watching YouTube videos to see what guys have, if they can insert. So to me, where YouTube is a pro is it's a search engine, right? And I know it's social media. They just try to throw it all in one bucket. It's a search engine, and the intent is a lot higher versus Instagram, where it's scrolling, reading comments, scrolling, and then you got in a lot of people's eyes, and in my eyes, I've got to interrupt somebody's day. I've got to do something of that nature to really catch their attention, versus like for Vegas, for instance, I know for a fact Las Vegas homes is searched 46,000 times a month, according to our tool we use.
Yep.
And we have 3 of our videos in that ranking. So somebody's searching for that. Yeah. What are they looking for? They're looking for Las Vegas homes specifically, right? And then if we pop up and then they click on our video, the intent is a lot higher. So that's the biggest pro for me.
I'm going to tell you my approach to the Instagram was kind of unique, though, because I think you and I both went back and forth, like, what's the SEO approach to Instagram? And you were like, just start posting. It's going to work. And I was like, no, there's a strategy there, man. And it took me a solid 3 to 4 months to even pull the trigger on the first, post or reel. And this is coming from a place where I didn't even know what a reel was, right? Or I did, but I didn't dive into the world of Instagram. That wasn't my focus. When it became my focus, I said, how do I want to approach this? And I took everything that I knew from living in Tampa, right? And my YouTube channel, and all of the feedback that people wanted. They wanted to know the areas. They wanted us to be a resource, right? They wanted to know the neighborhoods and the things to do. And I said, let me make this a little bit more fun, because like you just said, Instagram isn't so search heavy. It's a little bit more flashy, and maybe, even like it's just quick. It's surface level. They're quick 30-second reels or under, right? Usually. So I took the approach of like, well, people are watching me that are either local already, they are moving here, or they just want to know more about Tampa. So I said, let me just jot down a list of things that I would like to see if I was moving to the area, or if I already lived there. Started with like the best sushi restaurants, the best parks, the best coffee shops, the best restaurants, the best neighborhoods. So I took it back to real estate, right? The best neighborhoods. I just posted one that went kind of crazy. It was like, we have a bunch of springs that are outside of Tampa. Just kind of a fun thing to do, crystal clear springs, like natural springs that you could float on. And I was like, I posted a list of all the springs, and it was like, within 45 minutes of Tampa. That thing exploded. I mean, it had, I think, 500,000 views and people commenting like crazy, good and bad, right? Because that's what social media is about. It's to get people to be social and interact. Anyway, long story short, we just added all of those best of and things of, 3 things Tampa needs. We need more transportation as our city grows, and like people just start commenting, and now it's starting to form an identity. So with Instagram, I'm getting reach outs, and they're like, hey, I love your videos on YouTube, like I told you. So
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting though, because some people are saying, hey, I love your Instagram, but a lot of them are saying, hey, I love your YouTube videos. We watch you all the time. So if I had to like put a little bit to rest, I'm going to lean on, they wouldn't make that comment if I didn't have a YouTube channel.
Do
I'm
you
going to
think
say,
they're
you're
coming
right.
from Instagram to YouTube? Like, okay, because you had a video with 500,000 views, right? Or more,
Yep.
and your account's blowing up. So are
Yep.
they finding you on Instagram? And I know this may be hard to quantify or even really figure out.
Yeah.
Are they finding you on Instagram first, clicking your link in bio, whatever it is, and then going to your YouTube channel, which on YouTube it may show as an external source? Or is
Yeah.
it, I saw all your YouTube videos and now I'm seeing you on Instagram for whatever
Yep.
connection that might have? How do you feel like that's going?
Yeah. So I think majority of it have noticed me because they've been watching my YouTube for 6 months plus, right? They've, that evergreen content. And then they see me pop up on their Instagram somehow, right? And they're like, holy smokes, I love this guy, follow. And then now it's like, hey man, I love your content, keep it up. Love what you're doing on here. With Instagram, it's so different, right? Or I've been watching you on YouTube for, forever, but this was their direct way of connecting with me, because with YouTube, you can only leave a comment. You can't like direct message somebody. Whereas Instagram, you could DM somebody and boom, that communication is direct from the consumer to me, the creator. And so it's kind of nice having that communication. So I'd almost have to say Instagram one-ups, gets a bonus point there because of communication direct to the
Yeah.
viewer, where YouTube doesn't. In YouTube, we almost have to like, we're getting a ton of sales, so we know it works, but how? Because they don't have a way of communicating. Well, we have to give that call to action in the videos. Like, hey, call, text, email me, visit my website. Like, we're begging them to reach out to us, versus Instagram. I'm not really begging them. I'm like, hey, reach out to us, send us a DM if you have a question. And then it's boom, direct message. It's
Yeah.
almost like a text message. So, they both have their pros and cons there, but here's the one thing I'll say is, yes, YouTube is driving more business. I think that more people at this point with my Instagram account are noticing me from YouTube. I would have to give the one up and say YouTube would be where I would start. Instagram is giving me more exposure quicker though. So I'm actually getting more exposure locally. I actually had a guy that reached out that went from my Instagram to my YouTube, and he actually went to my home tour channel, not my living in channel, and said, hey, can you list my house? I wish I saw you earlier because I've already put a new construction under contract, but I still need an agent to help me sell my house. And I was like, dude, that's great. And of course, we came already as a trusted resource. I didn't really have any competition at that listing appointment. It was just me, and it didn't take a lot of convincing. He already told my team, hey, we're going with you guys. Just let's talk about pricing. So that was beautiful. But here's what I'm going to tell you.
Well,
I think, go ahead.
I wanted to go back to, so I do agree with you. I wish YouTube did have, like, YouTube not perfect, right? But we know
No.
with the way that we've done it with 2 different methods, right? That it does work. It does generate the business, and we just closed on another one. We got another one closing. We just put another one in a contract. Like, it's happening, right? And it's constant. It
Yeah.
works like a machine. But I do wish
Yeah.
that they had sort of a message the creator button or something, right? Send message,
Yes.
and then they could instantly reach out to you. Now, would there be a lot of spam? Yeah, probably, right? We get those all the time on Instagram. Hey, let me help you grow your account or whatever crap. But I do think that that's
Yeah.
where Instagram, you can, right, message again directly. Because even on our YouTube videos, we say reach out however you're comfortable. And then we have our Instagram,
Yes.
the Instagram pop up, and we have people, again, come from YouTube. Hey, was watching you on YouTube. That was how they were comfortable. So kind of like with that call to action, we, even in videos now, I say, hey, look, you can message us with that information right there on the screen. It's not weird. People do it all the time. All right. People reach out all the time. It's almost like you're convincing them that this is not something spammy. We're not some famous YouTubers, even though a lot of people think that. Like,
they feel like it is. Yeah.
They do. They don't feel as, I guess, connected on YouTube versus Instagram, right? Because like you said, with this information's here, and it's like, I've never contacted a YouTuber before. Like, I wonder if this is real. And then, people do it all the time. And when that's not a lie, but in a lot of people's minds, it's still like a far-fetched idea that this guy put his phone number on the screen, right? And I can text him, right? So I do agree with you there on that.
Yeah, I will say this though, during this, I'm glad I deep dove into Instagram, and obviously we're already seeing those fruits because it's exploding and everything is organic, right? We're not talking ads. Everything is consistent work, effort, reading our analytics on YouTube and platforms like that. And then of course, diving into what the people want and adjusting to that. We don't have as many analytics. So I know that hurts you because you're a big SEO guy. On the Instagram side, but I can tell you just from a simple way to measure it, right, is I had the 45 minutes, that one post that I did, it was a real 45 minutes outside of Tampa, and it was just a nice crystal spring, right?
Yeah.
I just posted another 1 hour day trips from Tampa. And then I have another one in the queue that is going to be, like short trips from Tampa. So all I'm doing is what works, replicating it and doing it with a different spin, with a different topic. And again, that second one already is at like 20,000 views and it's starting to trend up, and it was only 3 days. So I'm definitely seeing that one trended better than my other stuff because I've already seen it work. So it's just twist it around, replicate it, do it again on your channel, and you're going to get the traction. But here's why I'm glad I went down the rabbit hole of Instagram. Already knowing that YouTube worked, took a shot on Instagram and said, let's go down this rabbit hole. I found out that they work better together. The answer for you is this. It's like, why have a heated debate? Half of the stuff that I get on Instagram, the top 10 neighborhoods, I took my YouTube video that was the top 10 neighborhoods that I shot, did a really nice video. And then I posted I had my editor do a condensed version from a, 16-minute video down to like, I think it was just under 1.5 minutes, which is your max for a reel. And he did that one, and then that one got like 10,000 plus views. And I was like, great, they like that content. And it's real content, original content, not like a 3-second remix of somebody else's stuff that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And then I told my editor they liked it. Let's cut it up and let's do each individual neighborhood. So now I have 10 more reels that I'll space out over the next, 10 weeks as part of my content. So I'm repurposing really good content.
Yeah.
Why not have both? And again, people are starting to now point to each other. And I have one that's educational, which is YouTube, like on a high end, a long form end. Then on the short end, I've got educational, but from a different version, right? The short version on Instagram, which is like, hey, here are your best coffee shops. Here's the best springs. These are things you can do within, whatever. And then sometimes I flash articles like new development hits Tampa or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Now I've got like more local content that's just quick and like newsy. and they're working together, and people can directly message me or they can call us from our YouTube call to action. So now it's like this really nice web of two monster platforms that are just helping each other explode. So, man, it's a tough debate. I don't know if you could only pick one. I'm still leaning YouTube with you, but there's no question that the Instagram's easier. It's more fun and you're getting a ton more exposure. And
Yeah.
I'm really interested to see how this develops because I'm getting a lot of local exposure on Instagram that I don't necessarily have on YouTube yet. So kind of a double-headed monster there.
And that's another point too, is so, which is with the name of your channel, for one, I had a couple of things in my mind, but one, you said it's a lot of locals or a lot of people relocating. So you are tapping into a local base, right? And you talked about the guy listing with you, right? From that. So
Yep.
that is huge versus some of the relocation channel. They're heavy relocation. Yes, you may get some local stuff, but most of the time the living in method is relocation, right? People moving and they're looking for that information, and that's how we get seen, right? But with the home tours, we have tapped into more local. But anyway, I like that. So, and people are going to ask for your Instagram. I don't know if you want to give it or not. I would say no, because I don't want a bunch of agents, just like with our YouTube channels. I don't want a bunch of you guys watching my YouTube videos, one, killing my average view durations, and two, you're not going to buy a house. You're not my ideal client. So when everybody does this like follow for follow crap and all this other stuff, it's like, why? I don't care about what you're making. You're not working with me, right? You're trying to tap into somebody who wants to buy or sell, not another agent. Like, I can't stand those types of things. So I'm not putting any of my channels up here except for the agent marketers one, obviously. That's where we're helping you guys learn and grow. But definitely the Instagram, tapping into more local. The one con for me with Instagram is, one, I think a lot of agents, with reels and posts, they think it's an easy way out. YouTube is this daunting task, which it is. It's a lot of work. But once you get this thing rolling, like even when I started my new channel back in July, I'm telling my business partner here, Pete, I'm like, hey, look, everything we're doing now, it's not for now. This is for 6-7 months from now. And that's where we're at. And that's why we're wheeling and dealing now. Like, that's what we were building on YouTube. So for me with Instagram, everybody's looking for this quick fix. Let me just repurpose all these videos I make, but they don't even know if it's the right content. They don't know how to analyze anything. It's kind of just irritating in a way for me, that it's just everybody wants this instant gratification quick fix, and they think they're just going to go viral on all these platforms because they know what the hell an escrow is. It's so stupid to me. But
I know. And you know what's funny that I noticed too? I'm cutting you off, man. Go. Sorry.
No, I was ranting, but yeah, that's my problem with Instagram, for one. And then two, like, even when I was just looking at it, like, even TikTok gives me a retention graph. I love to analyze data. TikTok gives me a retention graph. I can see where the drop-offs are. I can see Instagram, it's, followers, non-followers, and then here's your reach, and then that's like, I don't know. To me, the Instagram algorithm is an annoying game versus YouTube, where we can literally A to Z strategy, analyze it, shift, pivot, whatever it is that I need to do, which we have done and seen. And we got another video popping off on YouTube right now. So
yeah, I will say this though, man, with Instagram, something that you touched on real quick. Sometimes when we're having these podcasts, you say something, I say something, it brings out another idea. It's like, oh wait, I gotta, say this to the viewers. So hopefully you've hung on to this point. But you mentioned like not having realtors. You don't want to just push it out to realtors. I can tell you this. I got a ton of realtors because I turned their heads. That are following me. I turned their heads because I came out of left field with content that is not saying, hey, I'm the number one realtor in Tampa, or I'm this or that, right? Like, I don't need the trophy and I don't need to show that trophy off. I came from a place of value and resources that I've learned over the YouTube journey, right? And like, it's not all local restaurants. That's just one good example. But here's the funny thing is, I followed the first 100 people I followed was thinking about all of the top restaurants, the top
local
small businesses, top small communities, coffee shops. And they didn't follow me back immediately. Now they are. Every morning when I would wake up and give them 5 comments, these are places I like to go. So it's like, love the coffee, love your fresh bakery, love this. My wife and I went out there for dinner the other day. We had such a great experience. Keep it up, guys. And like those things. And then they would heart it. And then they see me back and they see me like for like the first couple weeks commenting nonstop. Like, this guy's starting to grow a little bit. They see my channel exploding and they're like, yeah, we need to follow that guy. So now they're mentioning my stories. They're sharing my stories about them. And anytime if I go to dinner there, I might just take a second and add it, just being mindful of it. Yeah. And now it's kind of nice because I'm building a community of local businesses that want to share my stuff. And I can just see where that's going to run in the future. But I can promise you, it'll be one of the largest Instagram channels in Tampa from a realtor, right? Yeah. And from a resource. Yeah. Give me to the end of the year and what you're going to look back and say, whoa. But it's based on that because, again, I'm not just showcasing homes. I am showcasing real estate. So it's not that it's not real estate driven, but it's community driven. It's city driven. And it has stuff that people want to see, not only locally, but for those moving here. So there is a little bit of a strategy there. It's not just blindly shooting.
Going back to what you say is be the local resource. And now you said something else. YouTube, I don't have to go and do all that crap. I know what videos to make. I can analyze it. I can shift. I don't have to go, like I say, play in the playground. I don't have to follow all these local businesses. I don't have to do all that. I don't have to leave comments on things I don't give a shit about, right? I don't have to do that. So if I'm starting over, it's YouTube, right?
Right. Neither of these platforms are without effort, without strategy. You can't blindly throw, shit against the wall and hope something sticks. They both take effort. They both take strategy, and you have to be consistent. You've never, I post every day on Instagram. I post every week on YouTube, and they both take a lot of effort and work. But I tell you what, right now, I'm going to go with YouTube still the driver. YouTube's still the one that you start off with, but Instagram's a hell of an icing on the cake. It's like YouTube's the cake. You can't have a cupcake without the cake, but Instagram's the icing, man. It makes it a little bit sweeter. Just saying.
Listen, it works for sure. It works, but if it's pick one for me, time, effort, energy goes to YouTube, just because I've seen so much more results from YouTube. And I don't get put shadow banned necessarily or whatever by Instagram for whatever freaking reason they decide. Who knows? Maybe I liked the wrong person's post and that's why I got shadow banned. Who knows? So
end the debate for YouTube. End the debate. The end of the debate is you're going to go with YouTube.
End of the debate is we got a $1.36 million buyer closing from YouTube after reaching out. Just 1 week after they reached out. So I'm going YouTube.
All right. Well, I've got 3 years in YouTube with over 100 million in sales.
Yeah.
And until Instagram can match that, I'm going to lean with YouTube as well. But I love the way
the trajectory is nice, though. I like what's happening.
Extra exposure. And I like what's happening. So I'm going to say, why do one? Do both. And that's the end there. So tie a bow on this thing for us, man.
All right, guys. So look, we got tons of other tutorials, podcasts. These podcasts aren't just us, shooting it up. We are literally trying to provide you guys with all the, special details and things that can really help you grow in your real estate business, right? And the tutorials as well for everything, right? We're doing TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Google Business, SEO, all these things to really help you so that you're not relying on all these other platforms, right? These other lead gen scenarios or situations. So all that is on this channel. Those videos are going to start popping up for you right now.